Little Nuggets TV. What is up, you people? It's your boy Little Nuggets here, back again with another video. Given that we've recently stepped into the month of November, I think it's safe to say that 2025 is almost done. And in general, I think 2025 has been a great year for gaming. We've had crazy games that have come out in 2025. One of the games that I played has been my all-time favorite, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You should play that if you haven't. But regardless, this video is all about the games that we have lined up for 2026, especially in the first half of 2026. So we sort of like set the scene of what we look forward to in 2026. So I'm going to cover my top 5 games that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, without further ado, let's get cracking. Alright, landing in at number 5 on this list, we have Resident Evil Requiem, scheduled to release on 27th of Feb 2026. This is the 9th mainline entry in the Resident Evil saga. The platforms that has been confirmed from this game are PlayStation, Xbox, Windows, and plus the new Nintendo Switch 2. One of the cool things about Resident Evil games that I've played so far is it's very well optimized, so it does not really need as much resources as other games. So I'm really looking forward to play this in my Steam Deck. I did play a couple of previous series of Resident Evil on my Steam Deck, and it was a great experience. It was one of the best games that you can actually play on Steam Deck. One of the cool things about the new Resident Evil series is you can switch between third person and first person. I know when the game sort of like shifted its view towards first person, a lot of players dropped off. Hopefully, this series and this change in the gameplay mode will help with players with such issues. Talking about the story, it introduces a new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, who's an FBI analyst who's sent to investigate a series of mysterious deaths at the Renwood Hotel, the same hotel where her mother, Alicia Ashcroft, died some years ago. The setting takes place back to the iconic Raccoon City, or what's remained of it. The story itself takes place 30 years after its destruction in the earlier entries. On the technical side, the game is developed with Capcom's RE engine, which is known to bring in next-gen visuals, including ray trace lighting and more realistic shadows. So we're all keen to see what that looks like. Maybe not on the Steam Deck that I was talking about earlier, but definitely on some more powerful PCs. That will be something worth to look out for. Because this is a Capcom returning to root of what made Resident Evil and scary in the first place, returning to Raccoon City, bringing back that tension, that resource management, and that horror atmosphere that we all remember from Resident Evil 2. I think this is one of the games to definitely look out for in early 2026. Alright folks, standing in at number 4 is 007 First Light, the next big outing of the world's most famous secret agent. This is set to launch in March 27, 2026, and it's set to release for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and also coming out for Switch 2. So watch out, like there are a couple of really good titles coming out for Switch 2. This will be an origin story for James Bond, so we'll get to play as a 26-year-old James Bond who's just starting out his 007 career, or he's looking to earn that 007 status. The game features reimagined versions of classic Bond characters like M, Q, Miss Moneypenny. That kind of helps shape Bond's early career. What we can expect out of this game is a global adventure, exotic location, fast cars, high-stake missions, espionage, different gadgets obviously, and basically all the Bond flavors that we really love. On the gameplay side, the game is developed by IO Interactive, and these are the same guys behind the whole Hitman series. So we know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of stealth, planning, and a lot of oh shit moments that we'll look forward to. But it has been made clear that stealth is the only thing that we expect out of this game. We're expecting a lot of gunfights, vehicle chases, different gadgets to use, and all of the cinematic sequences that we would expect out of a Bond game. On PS5 particularly, the devs have confirmed that the game will be able to support up to 60 FPS in quality mode, and it'll use features like PlayStation's spectral super resolution to sort of support. Honestly, if I really think hard, the last Bond game that I remember playing was back in about 2013, I believe, and that was on my PlayStation 3. So we're definitely a couple of generations ahead in terms of video game technological advancement. So there's a lot that can be done now. I am pumped for this new take on the Bond universe in the video game space. I'm really keen to see what's been cooking. Yes, with that being said, 007 First Light is definitely one of the games to look out for in early 2026. Coming in at number 3, we've got none other than Crimson Desert. This is scheduled to release on the 19th of March 2026. It's been developed by the studio called Pearl Abyss. I haven't heard from them before, but the gameplay, the trailer, and all of that looks phenomenal for this game. This is coming out for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. The game is meant to be an open world action adventure RPG game where you play as Cliff, a mercenary leader trying to put together a band of survivors called the Greymanes after a brutal ambush on a war-torn continent of Pywell. The game itself was initially conceived as a prequel to the MMO Black Desert Online, which I never played, but over time this sort of evolved into a fully fledged single-player open-world action adventure. The game itself, from trailers and a bunch of gameplays that have been out so far, it looks very ambitious. It seems like there's a lot of focus on combat, and if I have not mentioned, you can basically ride dragons in this game. Probably the reason why it's in my top 5 list. But yeah, just from trailers and the gameplays, it looks absolutely phenomenal. The game looks very ambitious, and we're all in for that. So this game definitely makes it to the top 5 list. Taking the number 2 spot on my list is the Blood of Dawnwalker. Given my love for anything with swords, cloaks, castles, and the whole Middle Ages and medieval sort of aesthetic in the game, this was set to take a spot in my top 5 list. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a dark fantasy open world RPG set in the 14th century Carpathian region. The game is set in a world where vampires rule the night and humans are barely hanging on. We get to play as Cohen, who's a Dawnwalker. And you may have guessed it by now, Dawnwalkers are basically part human and part vampire. So at night you get to play as a vampire, and during the day you get to explore and play the game as a normal human. Based on the cinematic and gameplay trailers so far, what makes this game stand out isn't just the story, but it's the tone of the game. The world feels gritty, desperate, and beautifully medieval. Villages are burning, castles loom over misty valleys, and you can practically smell the iron and mud. Games like this, with a mix of historical grit and dark magic, it really hits that sweet spot between realism and fantasy. It's like Witcher 3 and Castlevania sort of had a baby. And if you missed the cue earlier, what makes this game even more special is that it's being built by Rebel Wolves. It's a fresh new studio, but one packed with veteran devs from the legendary game The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Cyberpunk 2077. The studio is being led by Conrad. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, but he was the director on Witcher 3 and is joined by other key folks, all of whom helped shape that same dark, gritty fantasy that we love so much, which is known as Witcher 3. Now, with that being said, it's fair to assume that the Blood of Dawnwalker is set to be one of the key games to come out in 2026. Alright, who are we kidding? Let's be honest here. We all knew this was coming. There was never a world where GTA 6 wasn't number 1 when it comes to the most anticipated video games. This one here is just not a video game. This one is going to be a global event as we know it. After more than a decade of work, Rockstar's back with Grand Theft Auto 6, finally dropping on May 26, 2026. Setting the scene for the game, we're heading to Leonida, Rockstar's fictional version of Florida, a chaotic mix of Vice City's neon nightlife, swampy backwaters, and most definitely criminal insanity. We'll get to play as Lucia and Jason, a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde duo hustling, robbing, and running from the law across the world. That looks really alive. What we know so far is this is Rockstar's most ambitious world ever, with dynamic NPCs, improved AI, evolving city life, and apparently you can follow entire social media drama inside the game. So if you were thinking social media on your phone was getting a bit too much, then you're lucky you get to do that in-game as well. Talking about the map, it is bigger than anything Rockstar has ever built so far. The Vice City returns, but the game also includes surrounding countryside, small towns and back roads as well. About the tech, the game is built on new iteration of Rockstar's Rage engine with next-gen realism, lightning, reflections, animations, and yes, the jiggle physics. Now with the dev time of over 10 years and with a budget that was over $2 billion, it is safe to say that what we're going to see out of GTA 6 is going to be something phenomenal. But for now, we've got the date set, that is May 26th, and we can't wait to get our hands on this one. And that's it, 5 games that are about to define the first half of 2026, from vampires in the medieval dark to chaos in Vice City's neon lights. Next year is going to be massive. If you made it this far, you're officially a certified gamer with patience of a saint. If you enjoyed this video, do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. That means the world. And thank you so much for watching and for supporting, and also for being part of the wider gaming community. Now, let's get ready for 2026.
Hey, if you got friends, can you hook me up?